Hello everyone, my name is Saida Zoheri. I am a cybersecurity student at Grand Canyon University. This presentation is presented for my professor Gary Lieberman. It's called Penetration Testing and Risk Management. Lab 5 Challenge Your Hacking Skills. My name is Saida Zoheri and it's presented by January 24th, 2026. Part A: explain how you plan, organize, and perform penetration testing on your Metropolis 2 virtual machine. As we all understand that we installed these virtual machines for testing, and if these virtual machine were configured correctly and their security measures were on the highest level, we would not be to do any penetration testing and testing security software and tools. Indeed, we will not learn anything. So simply, these are vulnerable virtual machines that are installed for learning purposes only. After we install these machines, we run nmap scan for our Kali machine to determine the IP addresses. After determining the IP addresses of the host and the target virtual machine, we perform a penetration test to learn the possible vulnerabilities and how to use them to take over a system. Indeed, we will learn via this process how to protect our future systems from common vulnerabilities. Provide a brief summary of why a penetration test is valuable to an organization. Penetration testing is valuable to an organization because it proactively identifies exploitable vulnerabilities in systems, networks, and applications by simulating real-world attacks from the perspective of potential adversaries. This helps organizations strengthen their security posture, prioritize remediation efforts, validate the effectiveness of existing security controls, and reduce the likelihood and impact of successful breaches. As outlined in a key NIST publication, penetration testing is part of a broader approach to technical security assessment that can help identify vulnerabilities that may be present in an organization's information system and supports planning and conducting technical information security test and examination. Describe how you would handle failures in following procedures. Handle failures in security procedures by identifying root causes, primarily human errors such as weak passwords, unnecessary access, outdated software, and poor habits. And recommending proactive success factors like team education, access minimization, a strong expiring password, reliable update software, secure backups, clear incidents response policies, and 24/7 cyber responders. A highly relevant, authoritative source for handling such failures, particularly in the context of vulnerabilities, incidents, and procedural weaknesses, is NIST's Computer Security Incident Handling Guide, which provides structured guidance and responding to and learning from security failures incidents to improve future resilience. Effective handling involves phases such as preparation, detection and analysis, containment, eradication, recovery, and post-incident actively, where organizations should conduct a lessons learned meeting after major incidents or a representative sample of minor incident to improve security controls, incident response procedures, tools, and team performance based on identified failures. Now we have part B, which is the scans and map scans. And map scans, first of all, I need to verify our IP address and find the IP address of our target machine. To achieve this, I used the command iconfig, and now we can see the IP address of our target 192.168.56.101. Here, As we all can see, that I used the command nmap to scan the system to identify the target machine, which is 192.168.56.101, so I can gain root access to it. Using my Firefox, I clicked settings, then preferences, and in the search bar I typed proxy, clicked settings to change it to manual configuration by using the HTTP proxy 127.0.0.1, and my port will be always 8080. I had a problem to install Nessus through the video that GCU provide to us. I don't know, due to problem or technical issue with my virtual machine, so I had to find another way or solution to install Nessus. Um, it's a different way than the way that Dr. Kendrick explained in the video on the playlist. The installation here, as you can see, the installation here is complete, successfully completed. Now, no error messages appear at the end. Nessus is now successfully installed, started, and running on my Kali Linux virtual machine. I used sudo system ct1 to start the Nessus service, and then I used NIS USD to enable it to start automatically on a boot. Here Nessus is ready now, and the other way unfortunately required me to either buy the code or to provide a student email so I can so I can get the activation code to install Nessus. So I got security warning here and asked to provide an activation code. Since I am a GCU student, I was able to get this activation code for free by providing my GCU ID and email. Here I applied. After applying the activation code, I received this error message again. And I registered and I was able to create a Nessus account here. Nessus service is healthy and running normally, but in the background, unfortunately, I had a problem to get the uh, activation code, security activation code, and get Nessus ready to scan. Here we have part C. Perform the first point in part C is perform a risk assessment and gap analysis based upon your findings from the second scan and current trends in cybersecurity. So risk assessment plan includes the following: identify vulnerabilities, as we did the nmap scan. We have to identify the vulnerabilities, and prepare a plan for attack, and then test, penetration test, and then test report and recommendations. Propose and analyze countermeasures to mitigate vulnerabilities. To mitigate vulnerabilities effectively, organizations should adopt a comprehensive set of countermeasures that addresses both technical and human factors. This includes regularly patching and upgrading software along with the security configuration to eliminate known flaws and maintain up-to-date defenses. Strong access control should be enforced through robust identity and access management (IAM) combined with multi-factor authentication (MFA) to ensure proper user verification. While password policies should mandate high complexity and periodic expiration, sensitive data must be protected at rest and in transit via encryption to safeguard digital assets against unauthorized access. As outlined in NIST guidance, effective vulnerability management involves identifying, reporting, and correcting information system flaws through timely patching (S12), implementing multi-factor authentication II, enforcing strong authenticator management, including password complexity and refresh IA5, and employing cryptographic mechanisms to protect information at rest (SC28), National Institute of Standards and Technology in 2020. Describe your expected results. There are always some differences between actual results and expected ones. These two differences depend on many factors might create the differences. Simply, we can state that there might be compatibility issues between the software and the machine hardware and capabilities. Also, there might be some technical issues or some different techniques that hackers always develop to overcome the system defenses. So it's always the best practice is to keep the system up to date and and test and ensure readiness and effectiveness no on regular basis. Explain how your strategy to establish mitigation of the vulnerabilities identified in your scan. After all these scans that I performed, I came to a conclusion that with all these different scans, the process and the goal is almost the same. However, the process is different, but is still security assessment of the system. That our main goal is to find points and vulnerabilities that we are trying to close to have a better system that can scan against any possible attacks. Explain how strategy reduces risk and hardens your system. Continuous system testing and updates will result more efficient system security and will also result better security controls, and all these will raise our system readiness against any possible attack. Understanding all these factors that we will prefer the system compatibility and security over the cost and expenses. Here we have part D, system access and implementation preparation. The metasploitable uh, to virtual machine was accessed locally using the default credentials MSFA, MSF admin. Administration access was required to modify authentication settings, disable vulnerable services, and apply configuration changes related to the vulnerabilities identified in Part C, the previous part. This access enabled direct implementation of hardening measures and provided a control environment for testing mitigation effectiveness. Part E explain why you choose to implement the changes you did cost, expedited, and critically. The selected changes prioritized authentication, hardening, SQL injection mitigation, and reduction. Because these vulnerabilities represent some of the highest risk issues in web applications with significant potential for severe impact, such as unauthorized access, data theft, or code execution, while offering effective mitigations that involve relatively low cost, minimal system disruption, and limited technical complexity. As explained in OWASP's analysis of critical web risks, injection vulnerabilities, including SQL injection, and XSS and are prioritized due to their high frequency, low impact for XSS and low frequency, high impact for SQL injection, combined with straightforward remediation techniques like parameterized queries and output encoding that provide substantial security gains with low implementation effort. Describe which vulnerabilities were impacted by the change. SQL injection was impacted by improving input validation and restricting database access. XSS was mitigated through input sanitization and limited client-side script execution. Ensure insecure authentication was addressed by removing default credentials, enforcing stronger password, and restricting login access. How were your expected results different from your actual results? The expected outcome was a reduction in critical vulnerabilities during rescanning. The actual results aligned closely with expectation, showing fewer exploitable attack paths and reduced severity ratings. Some legacy vulnerabilities remained due to the intentionally insecure nature of meta exploitable. Two, but overall exploitability exploitability was significantly reduced. What are some lessons learned from hardening your system? Lesson learned. One key lesson learned is that small configuration changes can produce substantial security improvement. Additionally, addressing authentication weaknesses early greatly limits attacker capabilities. These exercises reinforced the importance of proactive system hardening, continuous assessment, and aligning mitigation efforts with real-world attack trends. Here's my references. Hopefully you like it and have a great night.